Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So in here we want to create a user's manager, and later we will create a user's profile plugin. So let's start with the user's manager, because the difference between user's manager and profile plugin is that the profile plugin allows the user to edit their own profile, but the user's manager allows the admin to edit user accounts. So in this case, we will have to go to the admin section here that we created, this plugin here. And so we need a space for users over here. Now, of course, we'll do the most important thing first, which is to figure out what icon to use on this thing. Wow, so many ads here. Okay, how do I exit this? Alright, so I want to look for user on fontawesome.com. I'm looking for users icon here. So anyway, choosing an icon can take all day, so it's really up to you what icon you want to use. Let's say people group. Let's try and use that. You could use that, or you could use this one, users. I kind of like people group there. So what we're going to do is create a plugin, and we do that by navigating to our command line and then opening our command line and navigating to changing our directory like we've always done to the project folder, and then in there we say PHP thunder make plugin, and this time we'll call this one users manager. There we go. So plugin created successfully. Very good. So if I now refresh, you will see there is a plugin here. So what I want us to do is go into that plugin. So in the plugins folder, we go to users manager. Wait, what is this? That's weird. I don't remember creating this. So maybe there's a malfunction somewhere. There's a user folder here that I don't really know what this is about. Anyway, let me delete that folder. Maybe it was from one we were testing. What's going on? Okay, so it's refusing to delete, I guess. Okay, we will delete it. Let me open this plugin folder. Okay, we will delete it when we can after the project. If you close Sublime Text, I'm sure you can delete that. But let's focus on the users manager plugin there. This could be a malfunction here in the plugin creation process. So unless it happens again, we can't really fix it. So we'll see if it happens again. So plugin name here, users manager. A way for admin to manage users. Alright, so the plugin route here. Now, since this lives in the admin section, it's good to know the admin route here, which is admin in our case. That way, if it changes, we can easily change, or we import it in a project where the admin route is not admin. We can easily just change it here, and the plugin route will of course be users. And what tables are we gonna have here? So I'll just put this as tables like this, and then put an array, an empty array like that. We will put table names in here that we will need. So first of all, we assume that the users table will be called users. So let's do that. If it's not, we will name it something else. Okay, and then what else do we need? We're going to need a rows table as well. So I'm gonna do rows table. That's rows. Okay. So this one we'll call it. It's better to have double names for tables because to avoid duplicates. So maybe we can call it user rows. Something like that, user rows. And then let's have a rows mapping table. So rows map table. This one we'll call it user rows map. Okay, great. Now you may be wondering why we need all these tables. Let me move this back a little. All right. So we need a users table, of course, to have users accounts, and then we need a rows table to list the rows that are available here. But we need a user rows map table. Wait, I'm trying to think of a better name. User row. Anyway, this is fine. So this one connects these two because these are two separate tables. But this tells us which rows are mapped to which user, because each user can have multiple rows. So we can't just put a user row within the row of the user because we don't know how many rows one user can get, maybe 10 or 20. So we can't put columns enough to cover for that. It would be a waste. And then we need a rows table so rows can be edited without affecting who those rows are assigned to. So we can edit their names, but their IDs remain intact. And then we have this mapping table that actually tells us which user is mapped to which row. All right. Now with permissions here, of course, we're going to have view users. So we're going to say view users. This would be very common way of adding rows, or for managers like this. There's editing, there's viewing of a user, there's adding of a user, and then there's edit, and then there's delete. So this is the CRUD basic here. Create, update, create, read, update, and delete. So here we have edit. So if we can view, we can set whether a user can view users or add. It's not users. Here we use singular, but you can do it however you want. So add user, edit user, delete user. So these are rows that we can assign to people once this users manager is active. So let's look at controller. Controller will remain as it is. We just use one controller. You can use multiple controllers, that's fine. And then here we have a view. So we'll use just one view as well. Now after query, this is important here because we can do things before query or after the query is run to grab some items alongside. For example, if we load a user's details, we may want to go to the rows map table to check what rows they have and then load those as well. So that can be done in the after query. Okay, so controller over here. Now you can put several controllers if you want. I like to put just one in this case. So here what I'll do is I want to know if these are correct. That's the only time we should allow this to run. Okay, so first of all we will check if something was posted. That's the only time we will care. So I'm going to do this. If request is equal to new core request. So we have our request class there, and then we'll say if request posted. So if something was posted, and then we do our thing. So I'm going to do this, boom, boom. Okay, so if something was posted, that's great, but we should also check what page we're on, right? So we can check all that in one swoop here. We can say if page is equal to, then we get from vars. So vars should, I guess, be at the top here, like so. Okay, so if vars, if page is admin route, all right. Now we don't actually need to check if we are on the admin route really, because what we can do is we can configure this to only run in the admin page like that. That way every time it runs we know we are on the admin page. So speaking of the config file, let's change this to users manager as the title, and then users dash manager as the ID. Put your author name there, and this doesn't have to be number 1, it can be on the 3rd index like this. Okay, great. So that's all we need. So we don't need to check here. What we could check is the URL 1 like that, because remember that there will be /admin when we're on the admin section, right? So there's /admin, that's 0, and then /users. Now then we are on users, so that's the 1 that we are looking for. So we'll say plugin route. So if the plugin route is equal there and something was posted, so you could start with checking for this, because the way these AND things work, if this one turns out to be false, then this is never checked at all. So you can see which one is easier to check between the two conditions, and whichever is easier you put first. So I don't know which of these two is it. It looks like comparing this text is much easier, so maybe we were right to put it like this. Okay, either way, it doesn't matter. So if this is correct, then something was posted. Then let's go to the controller. Now, since this is the only thing we're going to be checking for, we can remove our curly braces and leave it like so. Alright, so our controller should work as intended. It's the same thing here we want to do. We don't need the request there. We may need the session variable. Let's do this. We're going to say session is equal to new core session like that. Okay, and then we will put our question mark again so that we know when to load this guy. So require view. Here the page we should be on plugin route as well, but we don't need anything posted at this point. So I'm gonna do that. As long as we go to the plugin route, then we load that. Okay, I think that actually works. So let's come back and check what has happened now. If I refresh, this is good. If we go back to the home page, we don't see that plugin anymore. It only now runs on the admin page exclusively, but it doesn't load until we have the route here. So now we want to add our item here so that we can see it there on the side. So I'm just going to duplicate this. Here we need to add a filter. So this filter is for, we can say add to admin links or something like that. So if we go to the basic admin manager here and we go to the plugin itself, we will see what the hook we are looking for is this one, before admin links. So I'm going to copy that and I will put it in here. But we need the name of the admin plugin. In this case it's basic-admin, like so. You could put a variable as well in order to, so these can be updated immediately. So it's as good as just doing this. You can say admin plugin ID or something like that, and then you can call it basic admin like this. So any variable that you may need to change later on, you can put it there as well. That way here we can use vars or something. However, using vars here may not be a good idea, because we'll have to grab, say, get value before here, and I don't like putting code outside these functions, but it's entirely up to you what you want to do. So let me just forget that for a second. I don't like there's no crime against putting code out here, but I just don't like doing it. So let's do admin links here. Instead of permissions, we will deal with links this time, like so. And then when we go to the basic admin here, we'll find that this is how links are added. So we can copy this same formula here. So we'll call it users, and let's see, plugin route. We need two things here. So the root, the admin plugin route, and the route of the plugin itself. And then here we do fa users group, something like that. Okay, so those links are added. Just by adding that, we should have the thing here. Okay, so it's there, but some unknown variables on line 39. So vars is unknown. Where is 39? Here. Okay, so vars is unknown. It's as easy as grabbing it from there, and let's do that. Okay, so back here, let's refresh. So admin plugin route, so I guess that is wrong. It's admin route. Okay, and there we go. So now we don't have the icon showing, so let's see. It might be that solid word that I used there. Let me click on this. It says fa solid people group. Okay, so it's actually people, not users. Okay, so let's come back here, refresh, and there it is. So now we have a users plugin going on here. So if I click on there, you see the plugin shown here, right where it's supposed to. If I click on dashboard, we don't see it anymore, but if I click there, we see it here. And if I just disable the plugin inside the config file, then we don't get any of that, and we don't get any errors. So let me undo that, since we need it to be active. Okay, very, very cool. So that's the beginning of how to set up our users manager. In the next video, we will see how to create a table and then add and edit users like that. All right, so I'll see you in the next video.